ACT Teacher Party List Representative Franz Castro supalpal ang inabot kay Ombudsman Samuel Martires matapos subukang kalkalin o ungkatin ang paggamit ng Ombudsman ng kanilang confidential fund. Ito ang balitang kumakalat at viral sa mundo ng social media. Ngunit bago tayo magpatuloy, huwag kakalimutang mag-like, subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para maging updated sa mga nagbabagang balita. Binara ni Ombudsman Samuel Martires si Franz Castro matapos subukang kalkalin o ungkatin ang paggamit ng Ombudsman ng kanilang confidential fund. Ngunit confident itong si Ombudsman Samuel Martires na ginamit nila ng tama ang nasabing confidential fund. Ayon pa nga kay Ombudsman Samuel Martires na kapag nirequire ninyo ang isang ahensya ng gobyerno na may confidential fund na mag-submit ng resibo ay hindi na confidential fund yon, at hinamon pa nga ang committee na willing siyang kausapin sa isang executive session. Dahil nga sa mga issue sa confidential fund ay hiningi na nga ni Ombudsman Samuel Martires na i-zero na lang ang kanilang confidential fund.
Please go ahead.
Madam Chair, thank you po. Mr. Chair, thank you. Magandang gabi po sa ating ombudsman.
Good evening.
So, yeah. Tingin ko, Madam Chair, yung request ng ating ombudsman ay baka pwede naman niyang mag-grant. Dahil marami tayong pagkukuhanan later on. Parang tingin ko lang mula sa previous na hearing natin kanina. Okay, so ang tanong ko lang dalawa po yung about confidential funds at saka yung yung tungkol dun sa mga cases. So in 2023, Mr. Chair, the Office of the Ombudsman Confidential Fund is 31 million. Actual obligation is 16.6 million. Can you confirm this, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair?
Yung confidential fund namin 2023,
Opo.
I think if my memory serves me right, our confidential fund in 2023 was 30 million.
Tama po, 31
Utilization?
million.
Utilization?
Yes, the obligation, utilization is 6.6 million. Can you confirm?
Yes, Your Honor.
On September 2023, during the deliberation of 2024 national budget, the Ombudsman said that his office can survive without the confidential funds. He added that, I quote, "And I would like to be the first from the investigating agencies to request Congress not have confidential funds during my term." Can you confirm that, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's why the Congress proceeded in giving just only 1 million for the confidential funds of the Ombudsman under the GAA 2024. But looking at the proposed budget, Mr. Chair, the Ombudsman is requesting 115.665 million confidential fund for the next fiscal year. Okay, so this is only 51.468 million or 44.5% of the proposed was approved by the DBM. Tama po ba yon?
Yes, Your Honor, but again, may I reiterate that you can just make it again 1 million pesos if you like, or if you like, you can make it a zero. Walang bahay. Zero appropriation for the confidential fund of the Office of the Ombudsman until such time or until the end of my term of office as the Ombudsman. We can survive
Okay,
without
thank you.
additional confidential funds.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, may I know po yung rationale bakit biglang lobo yung proposal po ng Ombudsman? Parang your proposal is almost 4 times bigger than the 2023 level po.
The 2023, which utilization, you mean to say? The request, this came from the DBM. I'll be honest with you, Your Honor,
Yes,
that with this budget that was given to us by DBM, I did not look anymore into how much was the confidential fund that was given to us. I am not interested in the confidential fund. I am more interested on the budget for personal services and the capital outlay, not on the confidential fund, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, hindi pala, no, from 31 million in 2023, I stand corrected, Mr. Chair. So, naging 51.468. So, almost doubled po para makorek lang po yung yung data.
That was the
So,
51 million, I'm sorry, Your Honor. The 51 million was the original proposal for
Yes.
2020 to 2024 budget.
Yes, tama
Which
po.
was reduced upon the suggestion of the ombudsman to 1 million pesos. Although we're only asking for about 10 million, the Senate was telling us that it would be very hard to put the figure 10,000 pesos in the budget because it is composed of 3 zeros always. So if I ask for 10,000 pesos, hindi ho makikita yung 1. So the chair, the director for finance asked me to please make it 1 million, of which I acceded. So para wala na hong problema ngayong taon na ito tungkol sa confidential fund, which is becoming a very, not just a hot issue, but putting some malice to this fund na hindi man dapat, because there are really agencies who need the confidential fund, like the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Philippine National Police, the Department of Foreign Affairs, and the other investigating agencies like the NBI, na kailangan, nagkaroon ng malisya. Parang nangyayari ngayon, itong confidential fund ay winawaldas ng mga tao. Ayokong sabihin ng aking kapitbahay na ako'y may ginagamit na bagong t-shirt ay galing sa confidential fund. So I'd rather not to have a confidential fund until the end of my term of office than to have a confidential fund where people will be raising their eyebrows. Wherever I go, kumakain ako, baka sabihin ang binabayad ko doon sa tubig o sa coke na iniinom ko ay galing sa confidential fund. I would appreciate really if Congress will just remove confidential fund from our budget.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, balik po ako sa 2023, Mr. Chair. So, sabi niyo po, no, kinonfirm niyo naman na yung actual obligation is 16.6. And we know that continuing naman yung na-approve naman na yung confidential funds ng 2023. So, ang ibig sabihin, kung may 1 million po na CF for 2024, continuing naman po na nagagamit ito, no, doon sa inyong office or sa trabaho na ginagawa po ng ombudsman. Tama po ba?
Pardon, Your Honor?
Going back to 2023, so 16.6 million lang po yung actual obligation ninyo, no? Approved naman na po ito nung 2023, yung 31 million. And then you have 1 million for 2024. Anyway, parang continuing budget naman ito, 2 years using the confidential fund. So ibig ba sabihin, na-utilize na rin po yung remaining na 31 million na confidential funds nyo for 2023.
Alam niyo po, I think even the COA auditor would agree that my character is more that of a waray-waray, some Bisaya. But when it comes to spending money, especially if I'm spending not my own money, ang sabi ho ng co-auditor na nakasign sa amin, no offense meant to any Ilocano, ako daw po ay isang Ilocano. So, ayoko ho magyabang, I don't want to brag. But may natitipid po kami sa confidential fund. Mayroon ho kami natitipid at kaya naman hong makatipid kung gagawan lang ho ng remedyo na gusto mo magtipid. In the Office of the Ombudsman, we have made a lot of changes, especially in this investigation process, where it used to be about 4 or 5 investigators going out to the field, we limited that to 1 or 2. We also have changed some method or manner of investigation so that we will be able to save money. There are more important things where we can spend that confidential fund than to splurge it in some other matters which are not really that important. We are aware that surrounding the office of the Ombudsman are urban poor. We cannot close our eyes to that reality that we splurge people's money para na rin namin niluluko yung mga kapitbahay namin doon sa office ng Ombudsman na mga mahihirap. So, when I assumed office, I started to save. I started to introduce some measures na makakatipid ang Ombudsman. I don't want to spill that out here unless in an executive session you'd like to ask me magkano ang aming natitipid. Thank you, Your Honor.
So, siguro, Mr. Chair, hindi na ako magpapalawig sa confidential funds ng basta it's assumption na dahil yung budget naman ay continuing siya, 2 years, so nagagamit yon. Or kung natitipid man, okay. So, next question, Mr. Chair, ay yung, so ito siguro yung dahilan kung bakit yung Office of the Ombudsman ay nagre-request ng another or additional na budget. Kasi nakita natin doon sa Office of the Ombudsman, according to reports that it only recorded 1,300 cases for fact-finding in the first 6 months of 2024. So it is lower by 32% as compared to 2,038 for the same period last year. So, out of the said total, the Anti-Graft Agency completed an investigation of 389 complaints for the first semester, or 28.17% accomplishment, which was higher than 21% target at the start of the year. So, pwede niyo po bang explain ito, Mr. Chair?
We are now in the process of abolishing the fact-finding investigation. It is just a matter of changing the culture that our investigators had been used to for the past 20 or 25 years. So, to speed up the investigation of cases, of complaints, we are trying to merge now the fact-finding office and the preliminary investigation office, so that when the complaint is filed, immediately it will be assigned to a lawyer who will conduct a case evaluation, and the lawyer will now determine whether to proceed with the preliminary investigation or to recommend for the dismissal of the case or to recommend for a case build-up. During case build-up, the case will either be archived or provisionally dismissed. We're also thinking of changing the impression that during the preliminary investigation stage, which the case is already docketed, that the rights of a respondent is already affected. You must have noticed that in the decisions of the court with respect to inordinate delay, it includes the preliminary investigation of cases, of which I do not agree, because during the preliminary investigation stage, technically, you do not speak of a case. You talk of a complaint, an alleged violation of the law. So if during preliminary investigation, you're not talking of a case, the respondent must be able to get a clearance from the office of the ombudsman. However, if the complaint speaks of a criminal and an administrative case, then that administrative case that is pending with the ombudsman must be disposed of in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution on a speedy disposition of cases. Because this time, the ombudsman is no longer exercising an executive function, but a quasi-judicial function in the investigation of the administrative aspect of the case. Kasi ang daming na-dismiss na mga criminal cases, a lot of them dismissed by the court on the ground of inordinate delay. The problem is, and I think this is unfair insofar as the people is concerned, because the case has not yet prescribed. Yet we dismiss it on the ground of inordinate delay during the investigation. If we count that investigation period in the finding of a criminal case, no case will ever prosper in court. Why? An anti-graft case should not be likened to an ordinary criminal case under the revised penal code. If we talk of complaints, violations of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, we talk of voluminous documents. We do not refer to testimonial evidence. It's more of voluminous documents that we examine, scrutinize. Take the case of Farmally. For every disbursement voucher or for every disbursement request, purchase request, there are 3, 4, or 5 disbursement vouchers. For every disbursement of the 5 different disbursement vouchers, there are also 5 different signatories sometimes. So each of these disbursement vouchers must be examined by the investigators. It is not a joke to examine about 2,000 pages of documents. Formally was referred to us by the Senate. But what was given to us was not a hard copy of documents, but a PDF that we have to reprint. And I think we had about 100 reams of bond paper that we used in printing all these documents. On top of that, we have to verify and validate that these documents are really existing by going to the different agencies and have these documents certified through copies. So if we will be dismissed on the ground of inordinate delay, that is not only unfair to the Office of the Ombudsman, that's unfair to the people who are relying that or expecting that a case will be filed against the erring government officials on that flimsy reason of inordinate delay. And the decisions are different now. Sometimes a case is dismissed on the ground of inordinate delay that's been delayed in the Office of the Ombudsman for only 1 year, 2 years. In fact, there is a case that was been dismissed. How can we file the case? It was during the pandemic. How can we finish the case, the investigation of the case that was during the pandemic? And even the Sandigan Bayan, the gates were closed, so how can we file a case if you cannot even enter? You'll be barred from entering the building to file a complaint or an information. Kasi lahat takot sa COVID eh. And just hope that the court will try to look into these things. That our cases that are being investigated is not a simple murder case where you need only to identify the death certificate, the medico-legal examination, the result of the medico-legal examination, and you rely more on testimonial evidence. Not in cases that are in violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. The PDAF cases, for example, volumes of documents. So it's not a joke, and I just hope that Congress will pass a law defining what really is an inordinate delay. After all, it is only this House, or it's only Congress, who can pass laws that would be able to determine what is an inordinate delay as mandated by the Constitution. Thank you, Your Honor.
Congressman Castro.
Thank you, Sir Chair, for that very comprehensive answer to my question. No? So nakita ko na lang yung sagot. No? You have merged the fact-finding, no, with the preliminary. Kaya gano'n na lang yung gano'n na lang po yung nangyari doon sa number of cases. Bumaba. So, yun na lang po, Mr. Chair, yun na lang po yung